Yeah, it was about a week or so ago that we decided to remove all the staff from Mauna Kea. It was about 2 dozen people altogether. It was a challenge to make that possible, and that was done as a unanimous decision by all the directors out of concern for safe access for our staffs to be able to go up and down and in anticipation of TMT starting construction. Since then, we've obviously been not operating on the summit. We haven't had staff up there. At nighttime, there are no observations being conducted. It's a very unusual feeling, if you will. We've been, shut down for weather purposes, maybe for many weeks at a time, but never by choice, and that's what's actually occurring now. And it's stressful on the staff in the sense that we're not clear when we're going to actually be able to resume normal operations, and nobody's clear how the conflict is going to get resolved, and we're looking for a peaceful resolution, obviously. But that lack of clarity over time kind of eats at you, so to speak, and we watch it closely. Yesterday, I like to grill, so I made a whole lot of food for my staff. If in doubt, cook. And other observatories are doing similar things to, bring the staff hopefully back away from the stark situation that we're now faced with, and looking forward, because clearly this isn't going to go on forever, and there'll come a day when we'll have peaceful operations again on the mountain. It's just how long and what's going to occur between now and then that we're not certain about at all. The observatories issued last Friday a letter at basically intended the audience was the international science community, the astronomy community, and that was it wasn't designed to be a rebuttal to other letters floating around within the international astronomy community pertaining to the conflict. We wanted to offer our perspective, and that good intentions understood by those in the international community. The situation here is way more complicated, nuanced, layer upon layer. Anybody who's lived in Hawaii a long time understands that. Remember one last week that at that point had several hundred signatures. They were started actually by graduate students, and I believe most of the signatories are in fact graduate students. It's a little frustrating because sometimes in the general media it's referred to as astronomers being opposed to TMT. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but if you're still a student, you're not quite, don't have that title just yet. Their opinions are obviously very important. But the reality is that letter we thought was in some ways a misrepresentation of what was occurring here in Hawaii. And we wanted our letter to be a means of conveying that, open the door for us to clarify, provide more information for that, our friends and colleagues on the mainland and beyond, and hopefully through good information coming from here on the Big Island, we can let them engage more effectively than soliciting through social media large petitions generated by a lot of angst and some letters. And it's easy, if you don't understand the details of what's occurring on the ground here, to accomplish what you did not intend when you issued that letter and trying to get thousands of people to sign up to it. So the real intent of that was to, politely, we hope, transmit that message and also reinforce our desire across the observatories to have a peaceful outcome. The letter mentioned the Ahuahea NOAA program, which is the program that we launched a couple of years ago, intended to associate Hawaiian names with discoveries made from Hawaii telescopes. And that spun off a lot of really, really interesting things. Not widely known was the Olelo Hawaii program for teaching from Kahakaula, a wonderful instructor, over 100 staff members of the observatory. So every Friday at noon we'd have Kumu teach us Olelo Hawaii, and that was incredibly well received, a great way to learn Hawaiian culture through the language. Another dimension of it is the presentation that Larry Kimura and I will give Thursday night called The Physics of Po. And this is the first public presentation. It is a joint perspective on Larry Kimura's unpublished prelude to the Kumulipo, the very famous Hawaiian creation chant, that I was amazed by when Larry first shared it with me. It has so many interesting and deep connections to modern astrophysics that when I read it, at least through, and I'm obviously biased as an astronomer, but Larry and I immediately connected over it, and in particular The concept of Po, which appears over 100 times in the first 500 lines or so of the Kumulipo, is interesting in how it can map into what we call vacuum energy or dark energy, and ultimately lead to phenomena like the Big Bang. So I'm looking forward to being able to share this for the first time with the public, and I hope that the opportunity for a wonderful, wonderful person like Larry, I've learned so much from Larry's kupuna. I feel very honored to be able to share his interpretation of that wonderful ancient chant through the lens of a scientist who is eager to see, how the native and ancient Hawaiians saw the universe, and the hope that I can learn something from that process that my so-called modern mind is incapable of, and that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. And that's the beauty of this sort of marriage between the Hawaiian culture and science. It gives you a completely new perspective, and one that really enriches you in the process.